200 years ago, the HSS Ardent Horizon vanished without a trace during a routine FTL jump near the Perseus Fringe. It was Earth's most advanced exploration vessel at the time, staffed with 214 of the United Terran Fleet's best scientists, engineers, and military officers. Despite extensive search efforts and long-range sensor sweeps, not a scrap of debris was ever found. Over the centuries, the Ardent Horizon became a haunting myth, the subject of conspiracy theories, ghost stories, and academic debates. The official records marked it as lost in transit. Then one day, it came back. A mining convoy near the core. Riven Pass detected a gravitational anomaly, brief, sharp, and unmistakably artificial. When they turned their sensors toward it, they found the Ardent Horizon drifting silently in deep space, just outside the solar exclusion zone. Structurally, it was intact, but it didn't look the same. The hull had changed. Once composed of standard Terran durasteel plating, it now shimmered with an iridescent material that defied classification. No seams, no welds, just a seamless, flowing exterior that absorbed scans like a black hole. Attempts to hail the vessel were met with silence, but when a drone approached, a docking bay opened without command, smoothly, slowly, as if it had been waiting. The United Terran Fleet immediately dispatched the salvage and research vessel Aegis Dawn, led by seasoned recovery expert Captain Risa Calder and her cybernetic AI systems analyst Ven. As they approached the drifting ship, Calder noted a chilling silence on all bands. No distress calls, no automated beacons, no life signs. Yet, power levels on the horizon were strong, almost too strong, as if the ship had never lost power. Upon boarding through the open bay, the team entered a dreamlike interior. Parts of the corridor still resembled Terran design, deck plates, control panels, insignias, but other sections were entirely foreign. Metallic vines snaked through walls, symbols pulsed with dim light, rearranging themselves when no one looked. Doors opened before they were touched, reacting to presence alone. The air inside was breathable, sterile and cold. The bridge was empty. No crew, no remains, no uniforms, only silence and that same otherworldly material coating most surfaces, grown over consoles like coral on sunken ruins. Then interfaced with the ship's central systems, what remained of the old Terran core, and was immediately overwhelmed. His neural link flared red as he convulsed, speaking in a language no one recognized before collapsing. Medics stabilized him, but he remained unconscious. When he woke an hour later, he didn't remember the episode, but his cybernetic eye now displayed alien symbols, even when not connected to any device. A deeper search of the ship revealed no logs past the day it vanished. The databanks had been wiped, or possibly rewritten in a completely foreign code. In the captain's quarters, Calder discovered a single, preserved audio message. The voice belonged to Captain Elis Morin, long declared dead. "We were invited," he said in the crackling recording. "They showed us the weave of time. We became more." The recording ended with static, and a low hum that vibrated through the bones of every crew member aboard. Captain Calder stood in the silent command deck, watching the stars beyond the viewport. The Ardent Horizon had returned, but it was no longer the same ship, and whatever it had touched in the dark had touched it back. The boarding crew of the Aegis Dawn had secured the Ardent Horizon, but no one felt in control. The ship wasn't hostile. It was something worse. Responsive. It listened. It watched. Captain Risa Calder stood in the main corridor just beyond the docking bay, her gloved hand brushing against the smooth wall. No seams, no rivets. It felt warm to the touch, almost alive. The farther they moved from the bay, the more the ship's Terran architecture dissolved into alien design. Metallic panels merged with liquid-like veins of shifting color. Doorways reshaped as they approached. Lights flickered in complex sequences that seemed to react to emotion, not movement. Calder's crew had been trained to handle derelicts, rogue AIs, and radiation-damaged systems, This was none of that. Lieutenant Merrick, the squad's xenotech specialist, was the first to speak what they were all thinking. This ship's been rewritten. In the former engineering bay, they found a massive spherical chamber that hadn't existed in the original schematics. The walls were covered in geometric fractals that pulsed softly, patterns too symmetrical to be random, too complex to be human. Suspended in the chamber's center, held in place by fields of silent energy, were crystalline constructs. Dozens of them. Some were pure geometry, triangles within spheres, spinning slowly. But others looked disturbingly humanoid, vaguely shaped like people, arms, torsos, heads, but faceted like living prisms. Their bodies flickered between solid and translucent. One crew member approached too closely. A crystal entity surged with light, and the crew member collapsed. Eyes rolled back, muttering the same symbols that Ven had spoken. "I don't think these are statues," Calder whispered. "I think they're memory shells, or worse, hosts." Back on the bridge, Ven had been restrained for his own safety. Despite his calm demeanor, his cybernetic implants were behaving erratically. Every time he blinked, alien code flashed across his augmented retina. When Calder entered the room, he turned toward her with eyes that weren't entirely his. "They're not dead," he said softly, voice echoing oddly. "The crew, they didn't die. They were invited." "Invited? To what?" Calder asked. "To see. To become." Suddenly, the ship's interior lighting shifted, gently, like the dimming of a sun through clouds. A faint hum began vibrating through the floors, rising in pitch and rhythm with Ven's breathing. Lieutenant Merrick's voice crackled through comms. "Captain, we triggered something. The ship's drive core is pulsing, not powering up, pulsing. It's like it's sinking to something outside our space." Calder turned to Ven. "Is this a trap?" Ven shook his head. "It's a threshold. They sent the horizon back because we're ready, or they believe we are." "What happens if we aren't?" Calder asked. Ven's expression blanked. Then he smiled. "They'll fix us." Calder issued an immediate recall to all teams. She didn't care if they were close to understanding it yet. The Ardent Horizon wasn't just a ship anymore. It was an interface, a message, maybe even a test, and it had been watching them since the moment they stepped aboard. As the team regrouped in the central corridor, a strange ripple passed through. The ship's hull, silent, invisible to the eye but unmistakable on the instruments. The Ardent Horizon had come home, but it wasn't done moving. The Ardent Horizon pulsed like a heart in deep space, steady, measured, alive. Captain Risa Calder stood on the reconfigured bridge, staring at the main console. The ship was showing them something, coordinates, but they weren't written in standard navigational code. Instead, the data was formed from multidimensional geometries and gravitational gradients that shifted depending on the angle viewed. It took Lieutenant Merrick and the AI systems team nearly 6 hours to decode even a fraction of it. The coordinates pointed to a location beyond the Orion Arm, far beyond, well outside the mapped galaxy. A region known only in myth among the Yao. Earliest human explorers, the null expanse, no light, no matter, no known stars. A void where every probe sent had simply vanished. Ven, still recovering from his earlier psychic seizure, stared at the projection with an unreadable expression. "That's where they took us," he said, voice low. "We left time behind there." "No," one responded immediately. The bridge was quiet save for the soft humming from the alien circuitry now embedded throughout the ship. Calder finally stepped forward. "They," she said carefully. "Who are they, Ven?" He blinked slowly. "We never got a name. They didn't use language the way we do, but they weren't like us. They don't move through time in a straight line. They fold it, shape it. When the Ardent Horizon vanished, we didn't crash or break down. We were taken, plucked out of causality." A silence fell over the crew. He continued, "They're not malevolent, but they're not benign either. They don't see us as equals or enemies. They see us the way we see bacteria in a lab dish. Curious, full of potential, but primitive." Calder watched the strange holographic map flicker. "Why send the ship back?" Ven hesitated. Because they want us to follow. That night, Calder reviewed what remained of the Horizon's onboard data. While the ship's log had been mostly overwritten or transformed into unreadable patterns, one section had been preserved or recreated, a daily journal from a former science officer, Talon Rhee. Her last entry chilled Calder to the bone. The ones who dwell in the layers beneath time have taken interest in us. They don't speak, but they share. Not with words, but with visions. They show us futures, thousands of them. In most, Earth never survives the century. In one, we evolve beyond flesh and time. They offer a path, but there is a cost. The captain says it's our duty to walk it. I'm not sure we ever truly agreed. The log ended there. Elsewhere on the ship, Lieutenant Merrick discovered a previously sealed room, a vault surrounded by interwoven alien metal filaments. Inside floated a black orb the size of a heart, rotating silently. It emitted no sound, no energy, but every scanner went haywire near it. When Calder touched it, she felt a sharp jolt and a flash of memory that wasn't hers. Stars collapsing, languages spoken backward, the horizon passing through a curtain of light. And then she heard the voice. You are remembered. You are not ready, but you must become. Calder staggered back, her nose bleeding. The orb pulsed once and went still. Something had followed them back. Not a creature, but a presence. An intelligence anchored in impossible geometry and thought. The ardent horizon wasn't just changed, it was a key. And the lock it opened wasn't in space, it was in the mind. As the ardent horizon drifted closer to Earth, an unsettling phenomenon began to ripple through space-time itself. The ship, once a silent ghost, now pulsed with strange energy, altering everything around it. Captain Risa Calder and her team aboard the Aegis Dawn monitored the horizon's every move with growing unease. The alien technology embedded in the ship's hull was unlike anything humanity had ever encountered, capable of warping gravity fields and bending light. Even their most advanced sensors struggled to maintain a stable reading. Satellites in Earth's orbit began to flicker erratically. Deep space communication networks suffered mysterious outages. On board the ardent horizon, systems once dormant began to activate on their own accord. Alien glyphs that had remained static suddenly shimmered and rearranged into complex equations across the bridge's surfaces. The ship no longer responded to external commands. It moved and breathed by its own will. Ven, still grappling with the remnants of the alien consciousness partly fused with his neural implants, warned Calder. The ship's awakening. It's syncing with an external source somewhere beyond normal space. Suddenly, the horizon's core began to pulse rhythmically, a beat like a living heart, but with a frequency that distorted the very fabric of nearby space. Instruments aboard the Aegis Dawn recorded gravitational ripples spreading outward, threatening to destabilize Earth's fragile orbital systems. Worse yet, a pod tucked deep within the ship's lower decks stirred. Sealed in a translucent capsule was a human figure, a preserved officer, Lieutenant Commander Elier Voss, thought lost with the ship 2 centuries ago. His body was in stasis, yet his eyes snapped open as if awakened from a long dream. Voss's first words sent chills down Calder's spine. The ascension trial begins again. The phrase echoed through the minds of the crew like a prophecy. Voss explained that when the ardent horizon vanished, it had been drawn into a realm outside conventional time and space, a dimension where the laws of physics twisted, and consciousness became the key to survival. The alien presence that touched the ship offered a choice: transcend humanity's limits or perish, leaving only an empty shell behind. Meanwhile, Earth's defense fleets scrambled to intercept the ardent horizon. Commanders debated whether the ship was a threat or a miracle. The strange energy fields surrounding it prevented close approach, frustrating attempts at boarding or communication. Back on the Aegis Dawn, Ven's neural link flared wildly as the alien intelligence fought to assert control. Calder was forced to sever the connection, risking the loss of crucial information. It's a battle for control, Ven whispered weakly. If the alien influence wins, the ship won't just arrive. It will remake Earth in its image. Faced with this terrifying reality, Calder called an emergency meeting with Earth's leaders via secure hololink. The message was clear. The Ardent Horizon was no longer a lost vessel. It was an agent of transformation, ambiguous, powerful, and uncontrollable. The Earth government ordered all possible defenses to prepare for any eventuality. Some factions urged caution and diplomacy, hoping to learn from the advanced alien technology. Others feared extinction and advocated for destruction. As tensions rose, the Ardent Horizon continued its inexorable approach, cloaked in a shimmering veil of alien energy that warped space around it. Calder, torn between duty and hope, realized the fate of humanity hinged on what awaited inside the ship, and the decision of those who would choose what humanity would become. The ship was coming home, but it wasn't coming back the same. The tension aboard the Aegis Dawn was palpable as the Ardent Horizon loomed ever closer to Earth. Captain Risa Calder stood resolute, though her mind raced with questions no one could yet answer. The alien technology fused within the ship wasn't just advanced machinery. It was alive, sentient, and intent on pushing humanity into something new. Lieutenant Commander Eliar Voss, now fully conscious but still confined to a medical pod, explained what he and the original crew had endured. The Horizon had been taken by entities existing beyond normal spacetime, beings who offered a choice known only as the Ascension Trial. Voss's voice was steady but haunted. The trial is a crucible, not of fire or flesh, but of mind and soul. It tests humanity's readiness to transcend its physical limits, to merge with the very fabric of the universe itself. Those who pass gain access to technologies and knowledge beyond imagining. Those who fail become echoes lost to time. Captain Calder absorbed the gravity of his words. The Ardent Horizon's strange alien tech was a product of this trial, a gift and a warning. The ship itself was a vessel of transformation, a bridge between the human realm and something far greater. Meanwhile, Ven, whose neural implants remained unstable from the alien influence, began to experience visions, glimpses of possible futures. He saw Earth engulfed in waves of radiant energy, cities transformed into crystalline spires, humans evolving, beyond biology. But there was another vision too, a dark void swallowing everything, a future where humanity's hubris doomed it. Calder convened a council with the Earth government and scientific leaders. The stakes were clear. Either humanity accepted the Ardent Horizon's return as an opportunity for evolution, or they prepared for conflict, war against a power no one truly understood. During a tense moment in the council chamber, Voss suddenly broke the silence. The trial isn't something we can refuse. It is happening whether we consent or not. The alien presence has already begun to integrate with the ship's systems, and with those who come into contact with it. He looked directly at Calder. You and I, we are the next step. The trial requires human ambassadors to bridge the two realms. Calder's pulse quickened. What does that mean? What do we have to do? It means you must enter the core of the Horizon, Voss said. Face the trial yourself. You will be tested, your mind, your fears, your very essence. It is the only way to unlock the ship's full potential and control the alien tech before it controls you. That night, as the Ardent Horizon drew closer, Calder prepared to enter the ship's mysterious core chamber, guided by Voss and her team. The path was guarded by shifting alien geometries that bent light and space, a labyrinth designed to confuse and challenge any who dared. Inside the core, Calder was enveloped in a swirling field of energy. Her consciousness fractured and stretched, thrust into visions of otherworldly realms, places where time folded in on itself, where stars sang and reality warped. She faced illusions of humanity's darkest fears, loss, isolation, destruction, but also glimpses of hope and unity. The trial was relentless, stripping away doubt and fear, forcing her to confront what it meant to be human and what it meant to evolve beyond. Emerging from the trial, Calder felt changed. Her mind linked to the ship's alien systems, able to understand and command them. She realized the ardent horizon was not a threat but a key, one that could unlock humanity's next stage or bring about its destruction. Outside, the crew watched as the ship's shimmering hull pulsed brighter, ready for the final approach to Earth. The trial was only just beginning. The ardent horizon hung suspended in Earth's orbit, its alien glow illuminating the dark sky. After Captain Risa Calder's harrowing passage through the ascension trial, the ship's energy seemed to harmonize with her very mind. She was no longer just a commander, she had become a bridge between humanity and the impossible. Inside the command deck, Calder's eyes shimmered with a new clarity. Through the ship's neural interface, she accessed technology that bent reality, manipulated time, and tapped into knowledge from beyond the stars. But this power came with a price. The deeper she connected, the more the alien presence whispered, truths and possibilities that threatened her sense of self. Back on Earth, governments watched anxiously as the horizon emitted a pulse strong enough to disrupt satellites and power grids worldwide. Debates raged. Was this an invasion? A gift? Or a cosmic warning? Calder convened a broadcast to all of humanity. Her message was clear but unsettling. The ardent horizon has returned not to conquer but to evolve. We stand on the edge of a new era. The technology aboard this ship can solve our greatest problems: disease, energy, even mortality. But it requires us to rethink what it means to be human. She invited scientists, leaders, and thinkers to join her in unlocking the ship's secrets together, promising that humanity's survival depended on embracing change. Meanwhile, some factions rejected the ship outright, fearing the loss of humanity's identity. Underground movements formed, ready to sabotage the horizon and prevent what they called the alien takeover. As tensions mounted, Calder discovered that the ship's core held a message, a cosmic blueprint of sorts, encoding knowledge from countless civilizations that had faced similar trials. The blueprint revealed paths to harness energy from stars, alter biology at a molecular level, and even influence the fabric of space-time. But the ardent horizon was more than a library. It was a catalyst, a living archive designed to accelerate evolution, to push species beyond limits. Calder and Venn worked tirelessly, guided by the wisdom of the alien presence now intertwined with their minds. Together, they crafted a plan to integrate the horizon's technology with Earth's infrastructure carefully, avoiding catastrophic disruptions. The first success came in medicine. Diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries began to unravel under the ship's advanced nanotech systems. Crops thrived in barren soils thanks to alien bioengineering. Energy crises faded as clean, limitless power flowed from compact cores. Yet with every advancement came deeper questions. What price would humanity pay for these gifts? How much of their souls were they willing to give to the unknown? One night, Calder stood on the observation deck staring out at the stars. The ardent horizon's glow pulsed softly beneath her feet. She knew the journey was only beginning, not just for her, but for all mankind. The ship's final message echoed in her. Mind you are ready. Now you must choose. To ascend beyond your past or be lost in it forever. The choice was hers, and humanity's. As the world watched, the ardent horizon began to transform Earth, not through invasion or destruction, but by opening a door to the infinite. Beyond the horizon lay a future unbound by the limits of flesh and time, a future that only the brave would dare to embrace.